Remember when this was the best delivery method for music? Remember when this was the best delivery method for supplements? Every industry evolves and improves with new breakthroughs in science and technology. Here at Numi, we've used a proprietary technology to solve an issue that's been around since nutritional supplementation began: the problem of absorption. So many of today's supplements are less effective due to their inability to be absorbed naturally by the body. Using our own proprietary hydrostat nano delivery breakthrough, we reduce the particle size of critical nutrients smaller than ever before, allowing them to absorb in your mouth while swishing for 30 seconds or more. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. It's responsible for boosting your energy, detoxifying cells, reducing inflammation, and boosting the immune system. If glutathione is so amazing, why have you never heard of it? Because glutathione is extremely fragile, and if taken orally, it will be destroyed via the digestive process, rendering it virtually useless to the body, until now. NutraSwish applies nanotechnology to achieve maximum absorption. Now, glutathione and other nutrients can be absorbed simply and quickly by swishing in the mouth instead of being destroyed in the stomach. Using this same nanotechnology, we've created the ultimate skincare product, Numi Skin. We've been able to achieve unparalleled absorption for key ingredients, including collagen, hyaluronic acid, and more. Some of the top skin experts in the world work together to create the ultimate blend of skin-enhancing nanonutrients, creating the most amazing before and after results. With our nano solution, you no longer have to wait months to experience the effects of skincare and supplementation. Our customers are noticing a difference within a matter of days. Don't wait to look, feel, and live your best life. A new you starts with Numi.
Hi, welcome back to another Dr. Shante video. This video is basically sharing what I do for general health maintenance. Well, in addition to just eating healthy, I take supplements. I take them habitually. The first supplement on the list is a multivitamin. A good multivitamin from A to zinc. That is what I take. I take it in the form of a hair, skin, and nail vitamin, but a multivitamin is suffice. The next thing is I take omega-3. I don't do the fish oil cap. I do this in a liquid because this is one of the 3 macronutrients that we need, right? We need carbohydrates, proteins, fatty acids. Okay, that's how I do that. In addition to taking a probiotic, I take prebiotics. I may take the prebiotics more frequently than the probiotics, and I can go over later the why to that. And I also take digestive enzymes. Those are the main things I take. Additional supplements that I take a superfood powder, and I have this much of water inside of the bottle before I put like 1 or 2 teaspoons of that powder in there. I'll make a separate video talking about it because it has so much benefit, but this is also something that I use on a daily basis.
my husband all the time that if a man approaches me while I'm out by myself and asks me for my phone number, I'm going to give him my phone number. And I'm going to give him my phone number not because I want him, but because I want to make it back home to my husband and my children safely. Some men cannot take rejection.
The definition of a holistic view is that all aspects of people's needs, psychological, physical, and social, should be taken into account and seen as a whole. Holistic relationships is leading the charge in sparking real conversations that transcend the ordinary, aiming not only to explore life's intricate facets, but also to inspire positive change and cultivate better approaches to every topic we touch. In the realm of love and relationships, marriage and divorce, parenting struggles and single parenting triumphs, toxic relationships, and the liberating journey out of codependency. Our goal is crystal clear. We are architects of change, crafting blueprints for better, more holistic relationships that stand the test of time. This isn't just a show or podcast, it is a movement. Each episode is an invitation to recalibrate your perspective, to rethink conventional norms, and to embark on a journey towards a more fulfilling life. From the nuanced dance of co-parenting to the empowering pursuit of self-confidence, we are here to guide you towards positive transformation, empowerment of self and others, setting goals, building legacies, and collecting fortune with purpose. Holistic relationships is more than a show, it's a philosophy. We navigate the complex terrain of aging gracefully and achieving optimal health and weight loss, shedding light on compatibility in relationships, and imparting wisdom on the art of dating and courtship. Join us as we forge a community committed to positive change, where every conversation is a catalyst for growth, every revelation is a step towards understanding, and every piece of advice is a key to unlocking a more holistic and fulfilling life. Welcome to Holistic Relationships, where the pursuit of better, more meaningful connections begin, and positive change is not just encouraged, but celebrated. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Holistic Relationships. Very exciting topic. I was inspired, and of course, you should have seen the video that I am referencing in this particular topic. The topic about giving out your phone number to men, right? Especially when you're on the go. This is regardless if you're married or not, as a woman out here. When I was looking at that video, when the woman was saying that men can't take rejection, some men can't take rejection. And when she said, I am going to just give them my number so that I can keep moving, get home safe to my husband and family, I felt her on every level what that is. I felt her there. And thank God for us having this thing now that we have called block. Thank God for that. So I go to the comment section because, we live for going to the comment section. So I go to the comment section and I'm looking at what people are saying, what she should have said, what she should have did in those situations. You have men jumping in and say, hey, you should have showed your wedding ring. And I'm like, dude, that does not work. I remember when I was married and I was at this gas station, wedding bands on, everything. Man walks up to me. He gets out his car, comes to me. Hey, how you doing, beautiful? I'm like, hello. I'm being cordial, nice. He's like, I just want to know if I can get your number. And I was like, thank you. That's kind of you. I'm flattered, but no, thank you. I'm married. And he's like, I mean, you can't have friends. And I'm like, that's really inappropriate. And he goes, what? I mean, you got a controlling man. I mean, he don't trust you. And I'm like, whoa. And here's the thing. The point is that when you said no, it didn't go away. He's still trying to see if he can get in and figure out. And I'm like, dude. And then if I were to respond differently, we don't know how it could have escalated. I had to keep smiling as I'm still rejecting, because I mean, I don't know if this man may snap or something out, and I'm out here by myself. And it's funny, with my ex-husband, he'd been in the military. He would have things where he used to buy me that I could have in a car, or that I would have on my person that could cut a ninja. If they came up on you, you know what to do, because it's real out here. And so the people who were in the comments of this video saying, just do this or give him a Google Voice number. And I'm like, so depending on your settings, with Google Voice, but that's neither here nor there. But have you encountered the person that calls you the minute you give them that phone number? I remember about over 20 years ago when I was in a club, a guy comes up to me. Maybe he bought a drink or something. Maybe we danced at some point in time, but he circled back, and he wants to get my number. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this or not, but I gave him a number. Now, mind you, we both been drinking, so I don't even remember in that moment, I didn't remember if I gave him the right number, but he dialed it. And I mean, thank God I gave the right number when he did it. And this is the lesson that I learned over 20 years ago. That lesson over 20 years ago that is still applicable today. And he went and called that number. He pulled out his phone, called it, and then I'm like, oh, shoot. And then back then, we didn't have it where you could just block people so easily. You just had to deal with the uncomfortable feeling of a person constantly calling you or texting you. And now we have that. We have the ability to do that. So yes, you can give the real number, your real name, and kind of just keep this moving. You do what you have to do, ladies, to be safe. Yes, I'm in agreement with that. I remember this was before I was a teenager. So this was before high school. I was with a group of friends. I was on my way to high school, but not in high school yet, but I was with a group of friends, and we were just walking down the street, hi. And then it's this guy that comes up that wanted to talk to me. He's trying to get my attention. He wanted my number. And I'm like, no, thanks. And he followed me and my group of friends for like a block and a half, calling me all kinds of B's and H's. And this because I did not want to talk to him. He harassed me in the presence of my other friends, women, of course, and there may be one guy, he was like, that was girlfriend, but our safety was like, everyone was like, oh my God, Tay, we ain't going nowhere else with you, because these ninjas, they don't be, And so it taught me not to go into certain neighborhoods, but it also taught me to be careful in my response. And even though we had a group of people, we still didn't know this person's mental state. We didn't know if he was strapped. We didn't know if he had a gun. We're in the inner city of Chicago. And what was I supposed to do? It ain't like we had cell phones at that time. Not in that time. So if I gave him my number, and I'm giving him my house number, the landline, where my mama gonna pick up the phone, like, who are you? And some men were just so ratchet. That's happened to me. as early as grade school. I was what, middle school, I think they would call it those years. I'm in 7th or 8th grade. I wasn't in high school yet. And I had that experience. That was the first experience I had where a male was not able to handle rejection, and how fearful I was in that experience. What was I supposed to do? I mean, no, I can't match this man in strength. But luckily, I had other people, witnesses that with me. With him, it ended up being that his bark was bigger than his bite. But we didn't know that, and we were children. And when you're in these situations, and you kind of gotta have some street smarts to be able to gauge the situation and go, how do I want to handle this here? Because this gets this out. These things happen in high school. We're just going places. And I learned when I was walking down the street and I saw a group of men or group of guys coming, I'm gonna cross the street and get on the other side of that street, okay? Of course, I still gotta deal with the cat calls from across the street, but at least they're not close in vicinity enough to be to just grab me or touch me. I just gotta deal with it from the other side of the street. And it didn't matter what race they were, Black, white, Hispanic, didn't matter. If I saw them, I'm across the street, and then that way I can kind of watch them as I'm moving. So if they get to moving, I can move quicker, run, or run for help. And I mean, geez, even when you're standing on the bus stop waiting for the bus, oh my God, what you have to deal with. We didn't have a car in our family. I didn't come from it. We didn't have a car. But just I'm standing on the bus stop going to school or going to the Up or Down program, or maybe I was going to a friend's house or to the mall. I mean, wherever I was getting ready to go, just standing on the bus stop. You got to deal with them walking by. You have to deal with them driving by. They will stop and pull over the car. You don't even know if they're going to throw you in the car and drive off. I felt this woman's video on so many levels. It really hits a home. And I went and looked at those comments like, are you guys serious? Also, some of you all have never experienced this. You've never experienced how they keep coming at you because they're trying to get somewhere. Well, some men would be like, oh, okay, I just want to let you know that you're beautiful. Thank you. And they'll walk away. Okay, she's not interested. She'll walk away. So we're not talking about them. We're not talking about the sensible men. We're talking about the ones that's off their rocker and they could possibly hurt you, that would verbally assault you and can possibly assault you or hurt you or pose physical harm to you because of that. So what are you supposed to do other than to make that crazy walking mental disorder happy so that they don't, snap off on you because you're like, I don't know how they're going to take this. And that's that thing, even when you're smiling at guys, they say something inappropriate and you're smiling. You're not smiling a lot of times, and I hope you hear me when I'm saying this. That smile doesn't necessarily mean I like you, I like what you're saying. Continue saying that inappropriate, questionable thing. That's not what that means. That means I don't know, or could mean I don't know how to tell you I don't like this because I don't know how you're going to respond, especially if it's your best stuff, your best line, your best joke. So we don't know how you're going to take it. We don't know how you're going to take us saying no or not being receptive to you in that way. So we have to be careful how we talk to you. So a smile doesn't necessarily mean we like you or we like what you're saying. Continue. That a smile could be like, I wish he could hear him and stop, but I don't want to be disrespectful to him. Just think about in the Me Too movement, when all those women started revealing in the tweets all of the different things that men were out here doing that made them uncomfortable. uncomfortable. And some of you may were out here like flabbergasted, like, what? And then thinking, oh my God, have I ever given that to somebody? Because in your minds, you're thinking there is nothing wrong with it, but you don't know how it's being taken by the recipient of what you're saying to them and what you're doing to them. Let's fast forward a little bit, so, to college. I'm going through college. I'm past high school, ended up you encounter more. I learned, and not through, you just learn over time. Not taking drinks from men at all. No, the bartender needs to hand that to me. I've been bought a lot of drinks in my day over the years, but it could not come from that person's hands. If they handed it to me, I'm like, yeah, I'm not taking that. It needed to come from the bartender, the person making the drink. That person gives it to me. Now we can talk, because I'm trusting that the bartender didn't drug me and then, try to take me somewhere else. So those are some of the things you have to deal with. And then a lot of times when it comes to assault and things, it's usually the perpetrator is someone that you know. Because I do have an experience where it was someone that did drug me. My guard was down. But that's another topic. We can make that another holistic relationship talk another day when you encounter that. And I'd like to be able to share this wisdom that I like to impart upon for young women and people, just in general, what to do, how to handle yourselves. And if it does happen to you, more importantly, that day after, how do you process that in your mind? How do you move forward? How do you not let it defeat you? That's another topic, another day. But remember, I said there was 2 ways that we could think of this. 2 ways. From the standpoint of the different things that women would have to do, different things we would have to do. Now, men that are listening, just know this is your friend. This is your son. This is your uncle. This is your cousin. This is your dad. This is your mentor, your idol, your brother. You know what I'm saying? These men are, I talk to a lot of men and they will say, well, you would never think that buddy of yours that you hanging out with, you drinking with, you having a good time with, that he at home beating his wife. Because they're not going to tell you that. They're not going to reveal that part or that part of themselves to you, that they're homegrown terrorists with their family. They're going to go with the consensus. And I'm not saying this to say that you're going to get into people's business or something like that. I just want you to be aware of that. And I think that you do. Or some of you are coming to learn that. And of course, everybody, it's young people, just keep living. You'll come to see these. It will be your friend. It will be someone close to you, and you'll learn something god awful about them, because people are people. So the conversation needs to be had just to expose it. Yes, we have to go through this. I cannot speak to the side of the women who are harassing men, but at least with women, we know, or we should know, that if we were to fight you, you're good, you're safe there. We ain't gonna win that match. A woman can still pull out a weapon, a gun, or knife or something. We can still do that. And then of course we could do the flip side of this conversation in ways where men are uncomfortable with women, how they are stalkers or bugaboos and they won't go away. And that could be another topic. But again, I was really inspired to speak on this after seeing that video, because I've lived this every day of my life, especially when my memory started to kick in about 5 or 6 or something. And just, I was walking up the stairs and and I grew up in Robert Taylor Homes, and I walk up the stairs and I didn't always get on the elevator, because I remember being stuck on the elevator before, and myself, some other kids and people, we literally had to pull apart that door and climb up out of there, being in between floors. That was dangerous as So I just played it safe after that experience. I was good. I wasn't a casualty there. So I just decided to take the stairs. But taking the stairs was a whole nother thing. They're walking up and down some stairs. You see a lot of things. You see people shooting up, doing drugs. They may be in the hallway having sex or something, or and you're walking by, or you're being in the stairwell, seeing that they're defecating in there or something. And then I remember when I was going up the stairs one time, and I saw a grown man, because I would interact with his kids. I'm coming up the stairs, he's walking down the stairs, and he said, "Hi, Shantae." Like, man, you're a really beautiful young lady. I didn't respond. I didn't smile. I didn't do anything because I'm thinking, oh my God, why are you saying this to me? You're a grown man. And not saying he had an intention or not, but I didn't stick around to find out. So I had 2 more flights to climb, but I just exited immediately. I played it off like, okay, I'm going to meet a friend on this floor. So I left. I came out of the stairwell and I was like, let me just get out of this hallway. That was my first instinct that I had. And I'm in the stairwell that's closest to my apartment is. Because of that interaction, I left the stairwell. And anyone who knows that project building, the homes, I had to go all the way down the porch I had to pass the elevator again. Maybe it was on the second or third floor. I had to get out of the stairwell, go across to go to the other side of the building and take a risk in what's going on in that stairwell. All I knew is that I don't like this situation. I don't like what he's saying to me. I don't think he should be saying that to me, especially alone with no other adults or anything. So let me just get on out. I didn't try to pass him and even go up the stairs. Let me just get up out there. Like, okay. So I played it off like I was going to meet somebody and that they was waiting on me. So I went on through that and left quickly. Okay. I was looking back to make sure that he didn't come out. So when I got to the elevator, there's a way where you dip in when you press it, they can't see you anymore. So I kind of was on the other side of that wall, just waiting and looking to see, and then I proceeded on to the other side, went up the stairs, and that's there. Finally got up to my floor. And then I had to walk all the way back across because I think I was in an 07 apartment. So I wasn't an 01 or a 10 where you're right at the stairwells. So I'm inside, but closer on the lower end with the lower numbers. So I had to I'm over there by the 10 apartments when I exit the stairwell. And I had to come back, go all the way across the stair to get to my unit. I remember that vividly as if it was yesterday. Just having to be careful when it came to that and going out into the road. Now, luckily, when I got into like my junior year high school, I had a boyfriend at the time. He had a car, and so he would just drive me around. So if I needed to go anywhere and he could assist, I still traveled by bus. I didn't take that for granted, but he was someone that we grew up in Chicago, so we know how it is. And if I did go somewhere, I was with him, or maybe I was going to his house. So that safety dynamic, just a little bit as far as me going somewhere by myself, because I spent a lot of time with him and his family. And I didn't have to worry about getting on the bus so much. I still did, but they tried to reduce that for me, that family, as much as possible. So that my senior years, I can't think of that much danger in those years and, leading up to, but those, it wasn't again until I got in college. Now I'm at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, young ladies. And when you go into college, and these are some of the things that they prep you for when you get there, that you never go anywhere alone. Me and my best friends, we didn't have cars, and we made sure we worked at the same place, and we made sure we had the same shifts. We walked about a mile. And again, we didn't have a car. Me and my best friend, we would have to walk about a mile from where we lived because we worked at the ice arena. And we made sure that we could work the same shift so we could walk together. So we weren't by ourselves. And if we couldn't get a shift together, we were always on the phone with each other when we were walking to and from work. These are the things that women, we have to deal with going out into the world. These are the precautions that we have to take to keep each other safe. And then when you're going to parties, make sure that you're near each other, around each other, that no one leaves. You don't leave your girl at that party. Dumb. She went to a few more parties than me, especially those frat parties. I didn't. I stayed away from them Greeks. No offense to y'all, because I do like y'all now, but we're much older. But in college, I stayed away from that ish. It was something, it was my little spidey senses. It was tingling. That was like, no, I don't know about it. I didn't date the Greeks at college. I didn't do anything. It was something that was just like, as flashy and attractive as they were and suitable guys, it just didn't feel like that was the, and I'm not accusing them of anything because I don't know really. I wasn't in that world. I just stayed away from that world. I don't know, maybe some movie gave me an impression about it and it made me stay away from that world. So I didn't date any Greeks in college. I wouldn't even be able to tell you anything about them or what the letters mean. I wouldn't even be able to tell you what any of that means. I wouldn't even be able to readily identify it because I made it a point to stay away from the Greeks. I wouldn't be able to tell you Alpha, Kappa, Sigma, Theta. I don't know. I really don't. It wasn't until after college in my professional career and years that I learned that some of the people that I dated, that they were from certain fraternities. And I would go, oh, that's nice. And then they're probably expecting me to know a little bit more of it. I'd be like, no, I never pledged. I was never part of that. But I think it's really a great thing to do. It's not a bad thing at all to do. In hindsight, to do it. I just didn't want to be a part of a clique, and that's what I perceived it at that time in my life. I just wanted my own individuality, and I'm not saying that they don't. I'm not saying that they do or not, but I do think in hindsight that those are some really good things to be a part of for your personal growth, professional development, professional growth, those sort of things. I think there's a value there, in being a part of the Greek systems there. So that's just me speaking on the outside looking in. So yeah, those are the college years. And now we're out of college, we're out of school, we're full grown people out here in the world with other grown people, okay? And it brings another video in mind that I saw off of this person's page where they said, y'all remember when we were coming up and you knew the people who were in the special ed classes, you knew the people on the short school buses, you were able to identify that. There was a separation of you and those other through most of those formative years in school. And even though his video was comical, he was saying once you were out of high school, they just let everybody out there. So how do you know who's who? And you could be out here arguing with somebody that was in one of them classes. I know the point of this video was to be funny, and it was. But it also made me think of, oh my God, we also have to remember people that those people are in the world. And what if you do encounter one of them when you're rejecting them in this time, especially if they've been pampered their whole lives and treated so fragile and for a reason. So yes, in these moments, ladies, gentlemen, and I don't know how many gentlemen have to deal with that on the outside. I can't speak for that, but ladies, definitely, we do what's going to keep us safe so we can get away. because the first no should be enough. No means no. The first time you say no, thank you, that should be the end of it. But in a lot of cases, it's not the end of it. In a lot of cases, you have to, you just have, it's just a back and forth match. And for people who've never experienced it, okay, well then God bless you that you haven't had to deal with how comfortable that feeling is. The anxiety that builds inside of you when you're politely telling someone you're not interested in them and they're still coming for you and they're not letting go. And because you have, or maybe you have, maybe you haven't, because I'm speaking from my experience, because you've had those very vile and negative interactions and negative responses to it, especially I've had the attempted assault I've had, I've been able to see how far some people can come. Not the ultimate thing, because I'm still alive, still living and breathing, because some women have lost their lives because of that rejection. So what do we do? Remember that flip side of the conversation I was saying, men, what do we do? What do we do? Is there some kind of distress signal? Do we get a cap and we throw it in the air so that maybe another male that's in the vicinity to see that, hey, a woman is in a comfortable situation here. This guy isn't taking the no, he's not accepting that. Remember in the Alabama video, dude did that was the bat call, that was the bat signal. You're like, what kind of distress signal? I know I'm laughing, but I am kind of a little serious here. Is that something that we can do as a community? That we have a little distress signal or call or something to be like, help. What do we do here? Men, what to do in these instances, because they are happening. It's real. And not every victim is going to report the assault or the attempted assault or the attempted threat. I mean, there are words and definitions for it legally for what I'm talking about, but that has happened. I can remember being out with people, and I'd be out with my male friends back in the day. It's during the time when I was young in my 20s, I didn't have any kids. And then some of my friends, they had kids, so they couldn't go out as freely, get up and go like I could. So I went out with a lot of my guy friends who had the ability to move around. And I'd be like, y'all going somewhere? They're like, oh, you want to come, Tay? Okay, well, come roll with us. Yeah. And so we all at the club, everybody doing their thing. They trying to pick up women. I'm just there having a good time, enjoying the ambiance, enjoying myself. And even though they was doing their thing, they was always like, hey, you good? You good? And if they saw people around me and talking to me, they'd be like, hey, she may be over there and we over here, but she with us. So don't be on no BS, okay? Make sure you got some act right. We will come for you. So that was the kind of company that I had to keep. And I can understand, like in other cultures, why they tell women don't go out without the men of your family or of it, because men know men. And as much as I know women, they say I can take care of myself, and I'm like, yeah, until you can't. Until you can't. So I have a preference to be out with men, untrusted male. That I have that preference for that now, because that is the way of the world. Men, they kind of see that, they don't kind of come for you like that when there's a man around. So I do have a preference to be in the company of a male family member, a male friend, and it's only because of these compiled experiences that took me in there. I ain't trying to be on here that long, to go over every single instance that I could think of that has happened to me being out here. Someone trying to talk to me, trying to get my number. So again, I just have a preference. Young ladies, I would say to you, if you have male cousins, brothers, and, people, connect with them, be with them, do things with them socially too, so collectively, and definitely within a group, because I be a chance at a lot of times because I was by myself. I'm a loner, was a loner. And so in hindsight, I'm thinking like, wow, you did change a lot. But you know what? I was covered, I was protected, and so I was good for the most part. But they do be out here to, I remember one time I was at the club and I was with a friend and he doing his thing and I'm going through the club dancing through the crowd. And then a guy grabbed me. When they grab you, not like to dance, but and I'm like, can I have this arm back? And they're grabbing and they hold you. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to get my arm back and I'm not doing a good job of it because he had a grip. It was my friend that came out the cut, like, nigga, let her go. And kind of like, what you doing? And I'm over here like, these things happen. They do. And so you gotta protect yourselves. Be mindful of these things. And if it means giving the number so they can call and make sure you gave them the right number, you can safely get on and get around and you can be like, okay, call me later and get the heck up out of that situation and just block their hands later. I would like it to be at a time where they just don't do that, for the men to just not do that. And to be able to handle that this one doesn't want to give you her number. She doesn't want to give you the number. In ideal world, in a perfect world, we prefer that they'll just take the no and move to, because there's somebody who will say yes. But to do something to the one that said no, but then just to continue on with the man controlling you, you can't have friends and what's that in it. Bruh, we know good and dang well you ain't talking about no friendship. You're just going to that because you're trying to find a way in. No. And you want to be like, dude, or say something like, are you stupid or something? But you can't say anything offensive or insulting because you don't know how they gonna react. And then you got some, and then now in this day and age, they're in the DMs. We ain't got enough time for me to tell you all that. But because of the social media that's giving you the access to all these people, they can just send you a message. Hey, beautiful. Hey, same stuff you would have been dealing with. Ain't nobody scooped you up yet. Ain't nobody. It's just same stuff that you deal with on the street. Same thing. But now, magnified. Because they have that access, that direct access to you by way of social media. That's why a lot of my pages are private. So the public page is a public page. It's a display page. It's designed to interact with the public. I will have an assistant that helps to look through that moves to that, help respond and just delete things. We can address serious business inquiries that's coming through to Dr. Shante. But if you do have access to the Shante, I gotta let you in there. You just can't come there. No, because I have to do that separation and send the auto messages from the public page that this is a public feed, a public app. That's something that's open for anybody else can see, because someone else can be managing this. Someone else can see whatever done. So people know how to reach me, and they know how to reach me, know how to touch me, because they've been given access. So they can slide on into the DM and say, hey, they could be able to not just some random. And I like it how Facebook and maybe LinkedIn, I think they have it, who they're not your connection or not on your friends list, and their message goes somewhere else. So a lot of times, if I'm going through trying to clear up I'm like, man, it keeps saying I have all these unread messages. I did check. I checked the stuff I knew to check. But that other folder, I look at it and go, I don't even have the energy to go through all of this. I'll address it later. But one of the last things that I want to say too, for men and women alike, when you're pressing on and trying to talk to people, there's something to be said about, because non-verbal communication is still communication. Still need to be able to read into that. So if they're not responding, that's a polite, I don't want to talk to you like this, in a polite way. No response is still a response. You're not getting any energy or that's not a, maybe they didn't see this, or let me just send a little friendly nudge, a little friendly follow-up. No, you need to be able to read between the lines there. Because again, now we're not going to want to send something that could be offensive or insulting through the DM, because you don't know if they're going to lose their rockers on the DM. And all this cyberbullying that's going on, everybody's bark is bigger than they bite. Now online, you see them in person, they just this little timid little thing running this little mouse, but online they big and bad. So you still want to temper how you're, responding to these things. But yeah, let's keep the conversation going. I welcome feedback. I welcome commentary. Yes, let's keep the conversation going. Let's get some other perspectives in to get this particular topic out so that we can have the conversations to build for better relationships, build better dynamics within people. So we, amongst all the other human beings out here. So this platform, it's supposed to be, or is designed to be, I should say, to be a ministry to us all, to come together, to be able to solve some real life problems out here, and to do so collectively with the spirit of change and brotherly, sisterly love. So I thank you guys for participating in this. I thank you for your support in this, your engagement in this, and holistic relationships. And I will see you in the next show. Until next time.